What's wrong with this guy? Why is he hardly fighting? Well, we got one on the Senko. He's actually a pretty decent fish. He's just not even fighting. I started reeling in. He was there. He's not even fighting. Look how skinny he is, though. Good sized fish, just super skinny. I don't think this poor boy is doing very well. Big old skinny girl. All right, girlfriend. Thank you. Go get better. Yeah, look at her. There she goes. She's not healthy. Or how I like to fish my Senkos. I'll fish in many ways, but my favorite way is what I'm doing here. And I can really only do that when I'm, you know, it's fairly calm. But I like to fish them weightless. I like the 6-inch Bass Pro Shop Sticko. That's what I'm using here. I think this one's called Sungill. But when they're weightless like this, I'll put them on a big 5/0 extra wide gap hook. You know, a nice big heavy wire extra wide gap hook. And that gives it enough weight to really pull it down, but it's still got that nice quiver to it as it's sinking. So I don't have to worry about, you know, a weight just kind of pushes it down. It doesn't have that chance to do what a Senko does best, and that's that quiver when it's naturally falling through the water. So the big hook gives it that weight to be able to pull it down, but it pulls it down almost straight too. Just rigging a Texas rig like this. Just these Bass Pro Shop Stickos. This is the 6-inch Sungill pattern. Nice natural looking pattern. It's got a little bit of reflective that the sun out here is going to grab. I'm in fairly clear water, so something that's somewhat translucent like this is just the perfect bait for right now. It's just Texas rig it, poke it down right through the middle, right to the bend, poke it out, run the hook through, twist it around so the eye gets buried inside, find out where it's going to line up, bend it 90 degrees, stick it right through like that, and then pull it, pinch it back, pull it back till the hook point buries. That's it. Weedless and deadly. And then what I'll do with these is I'll just flip it up into cover, close to cover by lily pads, grasses, stuff like that. Try to find a hole and let it sink down. And a lot of times just watch your line, because a lot of times they'll grab it while it's sinking. Once I think it's kind of down there, I'll give it a couple twitches, and it'll kind of dive and dart off side to side when you let it sink again. It'll drop back out and head back, kind of like that old school, what was that, As Seen on TV lure there that did that, I forget now. But it'll kind of dive away from you or off to the side and get back underneath those pads and stuff like that. And I do this on braid. I know a lot of guys will strictly use fluorocarbon with this with this. I like the braid because of how sensitive it is. When I'm fishing without a weight like this, even a cast way out there like that, a lot of times I can feel, even though I got a lot of slack, I can feel that thunk when they grab it. It's one of my favorite things about these big old 6-inch Senkos. You can chew off the end that the hook, you know, the hook keeper chewed up, bite that off, and you still got a good size Senko. Kind of make it last a little longer, catch several fish out of each one. When I'm looking at like a little patch of pads like this, what I like to do is toss it up, pull it over top of the pads till it just gets to the edge and let it sink. And it's a real slow method to fishing. Pull it back over those pads and let it drop, and it's going to pendulum back under the pads or alongside of them. I'm going to let it sink till I don't really see it anymore, reel up that bit of that slack, twitch it once or twice, let the rod tip down, watch it sink again. Keep watching that line, and when you see it moving pretty quick or see it twitch or jump, reel up that slack as fast as you can and hammer the hooks at home. Got it. Got him. Oh man, he was tiny. This method, it lets the bait slide up under the pads from the outside, and if you hook up, chances are you're going to be able to pull that fish straight out of those pads rather than through the pads. It'll work on grass, it'll work on trees, lay down, stuff like that. I can pitch up to the edge of this grass as well, right to the edge of it, and it's going to sink down and pendulum alongside of it or even into it sometimes. I like to use a nice long rod with a fairly sensitive tip, but it's got to have a lot of backbone because I'm fishing in pretty heavy stuff here, and I'm fishing with a real heavy hook. But on this method, I think it's critical that you have a fast reel, because I'm fishing with a lot of slack in that line. I'm really watching that line, and every time I twitch it up, I let the rod tip back down and just let the line go, and I can really watch that line to see if something grabs it or jumps on it. But when they do, you're gonna have to crank up real fast to set that hook. There it was. I didn't even see him. I saw the line move a little bit, but I felt that thunk, even though there was... He's decent. Even though there was a lot of slack on that line, I felt the thunk. This guy. There. There it is. Weightless Senkos. Right in the corner of the mouth. Came out nice and easy on a beautiful 3-pound bass. Senko, Senko, Senko. And I'll do this all day long.